everyone, I'm Brooke and today we're going to be making some craft together. The craft that I've prepared for us is a secret safe book. So this is my book, but it also has a secret compartment in it for all of your treasures. So to make this craft today, we are going to use an old book, preferably hardcover if we can, some PVA glue or some craft glue, a blade, and also a ruler. And we've got some other things that we're going to use, but this is how we're going to start off. Now with the blade, of course, that is very sharp, so we're going to be using that one with some grown-ups too. Okay, so with our book, we take off the dust cover first, so that we have a excellent, just full book, ready to rock and roll. So we're going to open up, and you can start on the first page if you like, but I like to open it up to a few more pages so that if you were to open the book to start to read it, you wouldn't know necessarily that there is a secret compartment in there. So we're going to open up to maybe a quarter through the book. We're going to kind of squish it down a little bit so we get a nice straight edge here. We don't want to kind of slide it open, okay? So not sliding, a bit of a straight edge. Okay, that means all of the pages are going to be lined up together. Now we're going to take our ruler and we're going to mark out the box inside the pages that we're going to use for our secret compartment. Now I'm just going to use the width of the ruler because that's nice and easy. So I'm just going to go this way, then another margin down this way, and then top, and also bottom. So as you can see, we've got a nice rectangle shape in the middle of all of our pages, just like in our demonstration book here. Okay, so we're going to take our ruler. Now I've got a metal ruler, which is very helpful because it just sort of helps you press it down and you're not going to cut into it if it was a wooden or a plastic ruler. So keeping your spine of the book nice and straight, not crushing it to the side, nice and straight, we're going to grab our blade. This one's for grown-ups, remember, because it is very sharp. And we're going to go over the lines of that rectangle. Now I like to cut a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, so we get a few pages in one go. Going to go into the other side. Just like this. Okay, and then the 2 shorter ends as well. I also like to go slightly over the corners so you get a nice clean cut on the corners. There we go. Cutting through, 2 and 3. Now as you can see, some of the pages are starting to come up. So there we go. You can see the pages starting to pop up and out. There you go. And if they're a little bit stuck on the corners, you can just use your blade or you can just slightly rip. There we go. And as you can see, that is the start of the inner compartment, just like this one. The start of the inner compartment. So we'll just do that again to give you another demonstration of how we do it. So we don't want to press the book all the way open. See how the spine here is flat against the ground. We want to make it up nice and straight so we can get the right shape of our inner compartment. Alrighty, so we're going to use our blade again, pressing down on our ruler, making our book nice and straight. Go 1, careful of fingers, even grown-ups careful with fingers. 2 and 3. The other side. You'll probably see some indents as well as you go along, which sort of helps you keep the exact shape and size that we want. Now with the books, obviously you'd like an old book. I found my book at a thrift store for just a few dollars. Don't go taking any special books off your bookshelf without asking Mum and Dad first. We don't want to be tearing up any books that aren't supposed to. 3, and there we go. We've got some more popping out there. Which is just what we want it to do. And going over those edges give you that nice sort of clean corner, as you can see just here. All right, now that is the look that we're going for. So we just do more and more of those, excuse me, depending on how deep you wanted it to go. So I've done one a little bit earlier to demonstrate what it would look like. So this is a compartment that I started cutting a little bit earlier. So this is about, well, we can check, we've got a ruler. 2.5 centimeters deep, this one, okay? So that's nice and deep, and you can put maybe some of your knickknacks in there, your jewelry or your pocket money as well. And it is plenty of space to hide all of your things in. So once we have our compartment cut, it's still all in pages, okay? So we want to make sure it stays nice and stuck down so nothing falls out. So we are going to grab some of our PVA glue and a paintbrush, and we're going to stick it down. So make sure you're holding it nice and tightly in place. And we're going to, so I can show you, start to use the glue to stick all the pages together. Which seems like a very odd thing to do to a book, but as it is our secret safe book, it's going to keep our compartment nice and safe. So nothing slips through. So make sure it's a nice thick coat so it penetrates into the pages like that. And all along there. Excellent. Now I would give this to dry probably about an hour at least. You could even do it overnight if you wanted to make sure it dries nice and hard, but at least an hour in the one spot would be the way to go to make sure that all of it's dry and the pages don't move around too much. Last side. There we go. You might find as well, once it's dried, there are still some parts that are not quite stuck together, so that's a really good opportunity for you to use a little bit more glue and go back and add some, so it's nice and tight. So once that's done, press it down like that. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so that's going to dry. We're going to move on to the side of it now for a moment while that starts to dry. Now, as you can see on this one, I've covered up the spine and I've just used some stickers actually. I found these at my craft store, and so you can use some stickers so it just kind of gives it a bit of a name that people might not look at so that it can stay secret, or you can even create your own. So this one, we're going to use our own spine and we're going to write on the edge of it. So let's have a look at what we might like to use. Okay, so I've got a few gold and white pens here, so I'm going to write our own secret title. On the side of ours. You could choose any title. You might like to choose your initials, or maybe you have some kind of secret code that you'd like to put on the side of yours. You can really do anything here. Be as creative as you like. I'm using gold, but you might like to use some gold leaf or some glitter. Or like I said before, the stickers are also a good idea. Or something that you can come up with that's really creative. Alright, so there's my secret safe book, which is going to be called Treasure Island. And we are going to pop it on the spine. So I've already measured this one out. We want to make it a little bit longer at the ends and also a little bit over the sides as well. So we have plenty of room to sort of fold it around so it looks even more realistic. So that's about right there. I'm just going to chop the end off. Beautiful. And then start to just sort of hold it down flat and bend around the edges. So as you can see, just bending around the edges because the spine sort of has that little crease in there anyway. So you want to kind of fold into that crease so it looks very realistic. So folding around that crease. Go. And the other side as well. And then of course at the ends. Now once you've folded it in, we're going to go back to our PVA glue and we're going to get quite a bit of it and cover the whole spine of our book. So we get a nice clean fixing with no bubbles in it. So lots of the PVA. And remember, inside at the moment, our pages are sticking together. We're just waiting for those to dry a little bit more before we do the next step in there. Alrighty. That's a nice amount of glue. So we're going to pop Treasure Island on the side. Holding it down, pressing it down nice and firmly, clearing out any bubbles that there might be. And starting to bend that in even more on the sides. Now once that starts to dry in the middle, it will be time to glue that fold down. So as you can see on this one, I've really glued the fold all the way down and into the natural fold of the book. So that's what we would do here as well. Folding it in and down and using a little bit of glue on the underside. Okay, so that's still drying there. So while the spine is drying, we're going to open our book back up again. We might have a little bit of a glue, there we go. And as we did in our demonstration one, we're going to pop a bit of felt in here. So you don't need to do this step if you don't want to. This is completely optional, but it's kind of nice, I think, to have a bit of felt in there, especially if you're putting something in there like jewellery. It's a good place to keep it. So I've pre-cut some of mine, and we are going to go back to our PVA glue again and glue it right on in. So a nice amount of the PVA through the center. Base piece. Now the felt, again, that can be, you can grab that from a craft store or you can grab it from probably your local supermarket as well. Actually, they've got a bit of a craft section in there. Alrighty, so I've got the base piece down and then the sides as well. So I've just cut those to length and width. And ours is still a little bit wet, but I'll pop it in anyway. But you would have waited at least an hour for it to dry properly before you did this part, just so it would be nice and strong for our secret book safe. Part. Slightly more glue. edges. There we go. And last one. Excellent. So as you can see, we've got our secret compartment in our secret Treasure Island book. So once that one had dried, you would fold the sides down and make sure they were nice and secure, just like this one. So there we go, that is our craft for today, our secret compartment book. I hope that you enjoyed it. I would love to see what you come up with, so make sure you tag us in all of your videos.